What you guys got another video on how to permanently debloat Windows 11 in 5 minutes using just a batch file. Now we all know that Windows 11 is fully bloated with applications and settings that you have to deal with, and it's just what Windows 11's become. You can see it's fully loaded with bloat, and most people don't need a lot of this stuff, and you can painstakingly go through here one at a time and uninstall it. And you can also use other applications like WinUtil and other applications like WinHance. But today we're going to be taking a look at something different. We're going to be looking at a batch file. Now you don't get as much control over a batch file as you do an application like WinHance or WinUtil and other applications like that. But this is just a bit of fun, and I'm in a virtual machine here. So as always, before you run any sort of script or batch file, it's important that the information provided in this video is for educational and entertainment purposes only. Any action you take based on this video is strictly done at your own risk and decision. I'm not responsible for any loss of your data. Also, today's sponsor is CD Key Sales. If you're looking for cheap Windows 10 Pro, or cheap Windows 11 Home, or cheap Windows 11 Pro keys, check out the information in the video description. Once you've created your account, you can choose what product you want. Click the Buy Now button and make sure you use my promo code to get a 30% discount on all your purchases. Use your capital B, capital R09 and apply that to your order. And as you can see right here, you will get a nice juicy discount. Once you submit your order, they will send you your key. You can head over to the activation center and activate your version of Windows like you see on the screen and get a full-blown version of Windows 11 or Windows 10. Okay, so let's get back to the tutorial. So here we have a batch file on our desktop here. What I'm going to do is right-click and run this as administrator. Once this is completely finished, I'll leave this on my Discord server and also put it on my website so you can use it if you want to. But again, like I said, you don't get much control. I have got some options here. Safe mode, which is low risk. Moderate mode, which is balanced and privacy, and there's aggressive mode, which is going to obviously do with the maximum debloat and privacy settings inside here. So I'm going to go for free here, and it's going to go ahead and do the aggressive mode. It's going to give me a restore point first, and then it's going to calculate how much free space, because it's going to clean up the system as well as it goes. Now, of course, this being a batch file, you don't get as much control as you would in, say, WinUtil or, say, WinHance, because what you're getting there is a GUI interface which gives you options to be able to checkmark what you want to keep and what you want to get rid of. Whereas with this, it's going to work off a bunch of predefined settings what it's going to actually set on the system once it's run these scripts. So let me just quickly show you when we get there what it's actually going to do. Because it's important that you understand the way this works. And once it's finished, it's calculating the free space. It's going to move on to cleaning up the Windows component store, and it's going to remove a bunch of data from there because it's going to clean the operating system as well. Now, if this was just the debloating tool, you wouldn't need to run a lot of this stuff, but I've made it a sort of all-in-one tool really, where it just runs, and it's just a bit of fun. It's not to replace any of the other debloating tools out there. So when you get to this stage, it's going to say run O&O shut up 10. And this is going to basically download the actual file that it needs, and then it's going to run it on the system. So let's go ahead and click Y for yes, and you can see Marvin 700 has created this script in the back end. So it will run this silently in the back end, no GUI interface. It's got a bunch of predefined settings that are set in a configuration file. So it's basically running these predefined configurations that Marvin 700 has created. And you can see it's now completed these silently in the back end. Now it's asking us, do we want to run Sophia's script? And you can say yes here, and this will also use a predefined configuration script that is going to run in the back end. Like I said before, you don't get much control using this method. So it was just a bit of fun to see how it works. So I'm going to run this and say Y for yes, and it's going to go off and download it in the background, and it's going to then start to run this on the system. And with Sophia's script, it will pop up a couple of little boxes here like this, and you can go ahead and check mark what you want, click disable, and it will then go off and start to disable those components. Again, there's lots of these little boxes that will pop up like this, and you can check mark what you want, like applications to remove. I'll speed this process up so you don't get bored. And once it's done, it's going to move on to the bleach bit. It's going to download this, and you can then run bleach bit to clean off any. All you need to do here, say Wi-Fi yes, it will then download and install bleach bit on the PC. And as you can see, the script has done its job. It's basically cleaned up the system at the taskbar, and everything else has been cleaned up, and it's removed a bunch of apps. Yes, it's left a couple of these little shortcut ones here. So let me just remove those, and I'm pretty sure I could get that to uninstall those with a bit of tweaking. But again, like I said, it's just a bit of fun. And again, we can see right here, if we go into apps, it's removed all of the bloat from here. I've left Microsoft Edge and OneDrive in here. I could have put in there to remove OneDrive, but I think that's removed the bulk of it right there. And a little bit of tweaking to the script, and I'm pretty sure you could get it to uninstall say OneDrive and Microsoft Edge if you wanted to, and download a browser if you wanted to. And this can be fully automated just using a batch file or a hybrid batch file. Now, a little code tweak here inside the batch file, and this will also allow us to download Chris Titus Tech's WinUtil instead of using Sophia's script if you wanted a bit more control over what you're doing. So let me just quickly get to that part of the script again, and I've made a slight edit in the script so we can see how this works. So I'm going to go ahead and push number 3 here. We'll skip through to the part where it says O&O shut up 10. We can say no to that because we've already run it, and I just want to show you that it will now ask us about WinUtil, whether we want to download it. Again, I can make this fully automated if I wanted to, but I wanted to show you can also have it open up like this. So you can go ahead and then make all your settings, download all your software, and also debloat the system using WinUtil in this manner if you wanted to. And this method is going to give you a little bit more control rather than running it automated in the background, because this will give you the option to be able to go into here and run either a standard, minimal, or any of the other settings that you want to configure. You can do them all here and make your changes to the operating system in this manner, rather than using, say, Sophia's script in the back end where it's just doing it all for you. If you're using the first method, which is using Sophia's script, you do get some control of check marking what you want to remove, but this is using 2 different methods to debloat Windows, and they will both end up looking pretty much the same using just this batch file. So pretty straightforward stuff, but it is pretty interesting nevertheless to see how powerful batch files can be still in 2026. Again, you can choose whatever methods you like, but again, this will remove any bloatware, telemetry, and any sort of settings you want to make on the system. It will do it all for you in full automation. Anyway, with that said, my name has been Brian from briteccomputers.co.uk. Big shout out to my YouTube members. I appreciate the support, and I'll catch you in the next one. Bye for now.